So this week's topic of Amuna Mondays was an original take on the phrase created in God's image. And before we begin, the class is dedicated to my younger brother, Leulei Nishmat, to Yosef Ben Devorah. May his neshama have the ultimate aliyah and just continue rising. So the topic of created in God's image. I spoke briefly about it 2 weeks ago. And it came up in conversation throughout the week, and I thought I'd make a topic out of it. So pretty much, I originally brought it up from the concept of we live in a very physical and appealing to the eye world, where it's like whatever's in front of you, and it's people judge based on what they see rather than what they know. And because of that, everyone just operates based on, how am I going to look on the outside? And unfortunately, they lack the inside. And so the thing is, how do you look past those? Like what should you look for? What do you look for if it's not what you see at the eye? If you can't believe the eye anymore, so what is it? And the truth is, no, you could believe the eye. The thing is, though, you have to look far deeper than just what face value is showing you. It's like, the concept that somebody will say, let's say, if the boss was here, then obviously I'd act different. Or, if my parent was here, I'd act different. Or, if God was right in front of me, I'd act different. Very fair and legitimate point. But at the end of the day, it's if you can tell the way a person sees God by their actions. Their actions towards other people, towards people they like, people they don't like, people they love, people they don't love, their partners, their business partners, their spouse, friend, boss, how they treat that person. If they're cheating in business, right? If they're scamming people in business, the truth is that's how they look at God. They look at God in a scamming way, like God scammed him or her, or God plays both sides, And that's why this person plays. That's really how it is. You can tell by their actions how they view God, and it's not, the argument doesn't now stand anymore of, if God was right in front of me, then obviously I'd act different. It's not true, because we're created in God's image. So when they act and treat you like that, the truth is they would do the same thing with God. They're doing the same thing to God. Obviously, sure, if God was a physical being and right in front of us, obviously everybody's going to be on their best behavior and this and this. Like, imagine you're at work and the boss walks in. Obviously, you're going to put the phone down. Obviously, you're going to act like you're working and do extra and this and that. But as soon as they leave, you're back to your normal ways of chilling and hanging out and talking and giggling or whatever it is, having fun. It's not a bad thing. It's just be honest with yourself. That's the truth of it. That completely mitigates the entire concept of, if God was right in front of me, then this. No, he is right in front of you. He's in front of you on a daily basis, on an every minute, every second basis. Just because you can't physically see him as whatever in your mind would comprehend as God, doesn't change that. You have to understand that we are literally created in God's image. And it goes even deeper than that, because the truth is God is limitless. He has no limit. Absolutely no limits. So when we're created in God's image, there's no limits on us either. No limits. There's like, no, then I can't do this, I can't do that. That's because you're not walking with God. You're limited when you don't walk with God. If you're walking with God, there's nothing you can't do. You want to go ask the raise the day after you get a job? If you're operating on this wavelength that I have God, and God's going to dictate this and this, then you're going to do it. And they'll succeed if it's meant to be. And if it won't, and if it doesn't succeed, it just wasn't meant to be, whether at that time or whether in general. And throughout saying all these things, it got brought up in conversation that people have struggles. People have struggles, people have traumas, people have things that they've gone through. 100%, there's no question of that. But at the end of the day, that concept that God does not give you something you can't handle is 100% true. And yeah, that can be physical trauma, it can be sexual trauma, it can be financial trauma, mental, emotional, whatever trauma. Everybody has trauma. But at the end of the day, it's adapting to it. You adapt to it. You roll with the punches. A person can sit there and be like, this was my life. This is it. Sure. And be depressed about it and down, and it's extremely tough. Sure. Doesn't mean life. Nobody ever said life was easy. And we only think it's easy because we've seen people that, one, portray it to be easy, or two, that we just write the narrative that they have life on easy mode. When who says that? Who says that? You don't have the full picture. But it's easy to write a narrative that goes along with whatever you're anticipating or want to feel. And that's the important thing, is to understand that we are limitless. But in order to be limitless, we have to operate like God. And look at all the characteristics. Look at the various things that we know God to be. Limitless. The concept of we're created in God's image. There's the concept that the world is being recreated every single second. What does that mean? Like, isn't it all written already? It's not. It's not all written. But at the end of the day, you have free will. Every person has free will. The concept that you can do everything correct, and yet still, because of another person's error or another person's decision, can harm you and ruin your entire life, is bizarre. It's a crazy concept. I don't know whoever written that, like whoever wrote that concept to be factual, because it's not. It's not. Just because somebody caused you pain or somebody harmed you or did something to you and it now is boom, that doesn't mean that they have any grip on your life. It's still your life. How you proceed is completely on you. You get to decide that. And it's like we're stuck in we sit there, and you can sit there and dwell on the past. Sure, nobody's questioning that. You can sit there and dwell on the past all you want. But at the end of the day, you need to adapt. The world is being recreated constantly. So you do the same thing. You recreate yourself constantly. One day you feel it, another day you don't. That's normal, because you're recreating yourself. Torah is limitless. It's not like, blank and blank happened when I was younger, so this is what this, and the rabbis are all lies. The rabbi was teaching you when you were 10 years old. Torah when you're 10, and Torah when you're 20, and Torah when you're 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 is all the same Torah. It's just being given in a different way. You're going to tell a 10-year-old the Torah in this way, but to be 30 years old and still hold that grudge that the teacher taught you on in this way, and it was wrong, and everything I know is a lie. You have to adapt. That's important. That people are going to do things to you. Your life's going to take changes. You're going to have ups and downs, but it's important. And it's very godlike to adapt to it. You roll with it, adapt. You don't get held up on that concept. We're not an animal. And the animal that comes to mind is an elephant. An elephant at a young age, an elephant is 2 tons, let's say, or a ton. What holds an elephant in place? It's literally a stake in the ground. Stake, a rope, and boom, hammer it in the ground, and that's holding an elephant. How does that make sense? It's like, bro, it's 2 tons. You can just take it out. Yeah, but when it was a baby, elephants have one of the greatest memories. And when it was a baby, it could not get out of the stake. So now when it's older, it's not going to repeat the same process. It's not even going to attempt to take it out, despite the fact that it grew up and it's significantly larger and it's no problem to get out of it. But no, in its mind, it's engraved, it's stuck in the fact that I cannot get out of this. So that's why they're tameable in that way. But we're not animals. Adapt to it. We have the beauty of our mind. We have the beauty of time. We have the beauty of life. Adapt and move on and get over whatever you've gone through or went through or are going through. It's a hurdle. You don't have to get over it with flying colors. Just pass. Get through the next day. It doesn't have to be the most thriving, amazing, beneficial, productive day. Just get through it. Because the next day is going to be, you got a next problem, next issue, next goal, next mission. You got to move on. So that's pretty much what it is. The only thing that really differentiates God and humans in regards to being created in his image is the free will. We have free will. And that's a struggle, but at the same time, it's also so beautiful. Because we're limitless, and we get to choose to be limitless. But we have to constantly choose to do so. And in doing so, we have to constantly adapt. So again, just have in mind, Leulei Nishmat for Yosef Ben Devorah. Thank you.